And Gomez, it's an absolute privilege and a pleasure speaking to you on 97.7 FM, that is KC Radio. We are streaming live on the web, that is all the w's.kcradio.com.au. And we are locally on the dial, which is 97.7 FM KC Radio. Well, I touched on a little bit about the situation and where you are at this morning, and I went through a story and I want to go a little more deeper into this, and I want to talk about the fear itself that is holding you back, and this is what I've learned, and a lot of it I say on the segment is my views and my ideas, and does not reflect the views and ideas of you, our listeners. Now, see, a lot of times fear holds us back, right? And we know that. People are fearful of two things, and this is how I look at it. And learning from my mentors and what they've said is two things. One is they're fearful of the situation, okay, the current situation, if I can put it that way. Now, I want you to be in track with me. I know it's a bit early in the morning. If having a coffee, to sit back and have a listen to 97.7 FM KC Radio, and we have some great programs going through the day itself. Well, let me get back into what I'm saying. Well, where was I? All right, the situation. Well, yeah. So, people are fearful of two things. One is the current situation, that is. And the situation is not the problem here. But see, for example, if you're floating on a boat, and the boat, what is a boat designed to do? It's designed to float along. As long as the situation on the outside does not get on the inside, we are fine, or you are fine, floating on that boat. See, boats only sink when the situation on the outside gets on the inside. I hope you're on track with me on this one. Here's my point. There are situations happening to us all the time, around us, constantly. Circumstances happening around us all the time. Now, I'm talking about a situation here. As long as it does not get on the inside, a lot of times you could be sailing past without any issues, without any challenges, right? There could be absolute hell on the outside. I don't care. There could be, hell on the outside. It will not bother you. People can speak about you. People can say things about you. People can think, no matter what they say, you just go on about it. Nothing really bothers you. It doesn't bother you at all. And the moment you let it start, or it starts to get on the inside, and it starts to get to you, guess what? You will be drowning. You will drown. You will drown. So it's like this, the situation on the outside, when you're on a boat and sailing on a boat, gets on the inside, you're going to drown because you let the situation on the outside get on the inside. And if you look at it, a lot of times it's in your conversation, it's in your speech, it's in your thoughts, it's in your words and what you say and the people who move around you. It's in your attitude. Those are some of the first signs of going down, of sinking. And when you allow that to happen, guess what? You are going down no matter what. You are going to go down because you allowed that to happen to you. And it's a choice again you make. It's a choice again. I say it again and again. It's a choice you make if you let that situation get on the inside. Someone once said people who ride on the top of the storms do it because they float through without allowing it to get to them. And it's so very true, isn't it? So very true. You can go to an absolute recession. You can go through a depression. There are people becoming millionaires. There's people becoming billionaires in the middle of a depression because they didn't allow the situation on the outside get to them and affect them on the inside. No matter what, they just went through the storm, not letting that affect them. And when the things on the outside get to you on the inside, again, like I said, you begin to go down. So how do you keep it out? And I'm glad you asked, how do you keep it out? See, when another example is when, and I've spoken about this before on this, I think on the segment, and I do speak on stages when I speak to individuals. I give them this example of a ship. So what are ships do? When they build ships, they tar it to the notch and pitch and just it's really hard resistant steel, if I can put it that way, and does not allow the ship to go down. does not allow the ship to sink, if I can put it that way. The water can lash on the hull, and there can be the biggest waves in the ocean, or the waves in the ocean. No matter what, it will just pierce through that and go through it, because it's built to do that. That's what ships are built to do, as opposed to sitting in the harbor and looking and looking good. They're built to go out there and fight the waves and get to their destination, no matter what the challenges on the outside. You don't want to associate yourself with people, and get tied up to people that penetrate your pitch, if I can put it that way, and negativity and create doubt, and people who are, keep coming to you and always saying to you, hey, you know what, you're no good, you better watch out, this is never going to happen, you are never going to make it. What makes you think you're different? What makes you think you're special? What makes you think, you can achieve what you want? You haven't got it in you. You've got to be scared. Because this is never going to happen. I've tried this, and I've known people who have tried this. And I always say people who come up to you and constantly say the stuff to you, and I always say, sometimes I call them gutless. And I say to their face, they're gutless because they haven't tried it themselves, and they're coming to you, and they're trying to bring you down and get you to drown. But you have to use a lot of common sense, isn't it? Common sense. And don't let that garbage and that nonsense get to you, because once you let that get to you, they will tie your mind up. Just tie your mind up with negativity, with malice, and they'll start, and you'll start to doubt yourself, and that's when you start to drown. That's when you start to drown. You need people who can build you up, who people can support you, people who can mentor you, people can go through and see what your talents are and raise you up and say, hey, you can do this, you can do things that you set out to do, and give you the courage, give you the strength to build you up. Those are the people you need to be moving around, because those are the people that will build you up. So the question I ask you is, what are you going through right now that's getting to you? What are you going through right now? You could be going through some challenges. You could be going through some absolute hell out there. What are you going through right now that's allowing that to get to you? And a lot of you say, hey, Ryan, but the situation. Yes, then that's what I'm talking about. It's the situation I'm talking about. If you want to know what's getting into you, listen to what you have to talk about. It's what's in your heart is what is what the truth comes out. So whenever your mouth is talking, and that's what's filled in your heart. Have you ever been around people that talk about the past all the time? I've been around. Constantly. I always say the past is not real. Past is gone. It's finished. It's never coming back. The future is not real either, and I contradict that. Future is not real either. But what is real is now, this very instance, and what we all do with it. And that is the key. That is the absolute key. And you've seen people talking about the past a lot, and they come up and they bring up the past all the time. That stops them from moving forward and achieving what they want right now, because they're living in the situation. They're living in the current situation. And allowing the circumstances around them to get to them. And if you talk, I've heard people talk about it, and there's an example where people talk about it like it was yesterday. It was 20 years ago. 20 years ago that David, that snake, he left me, and and she always remembers David, but David's moved on, and he's got 5 kids, and he's gone on with his life, and this was 20 years ago, and here you got Annabelle that is still mad with David 20 years later and talks about the past. She's allowed the circumstance on the outside get to her on the inside. David's moved on with his life. David's gone on with his life. But she's drowning in a 20-year-old cup of water and constantly talking about the past. And guess what? You are in that situation. And then you wonder, what happened? Why you keep getting dragged down? It's what you focus on, is what you get in life. While David's moved on with his life, David's achieved a lot of success, and he's constantly achieving his success. He's got 5 kids. And here you got Annabelle drowning, again I say, in a 20-year-old cup of water. if I had some time, I can go through this a bit more. I mean, I really, but in saying that, let me go a little deeper here. And I haven't got much time, but let me go a little deeper here. So when I talk about the situation, so it's not only the situation that we need to be afraid. People are afraid of the circumstances. And here's double jeopardy, I call it. I mean, people are afraid of the solution. And I understand people being afraid of the circumstance. Absolutely, I understand. People are afraid of the circumstances. But here you got the solution. And people are afraid of the solution as well. Let me explain this a little more deeper. Let me go a bit deeper this morning. I mean, if you have a cup of coffee in the morning, well, just Ryan he's in full flow at this point in time. But let me break it down for you a little bit. Let me break it down. If you're on the 10th floor of a building, okay, and the building is on fire, and here you got the fireman standing down on the first or the ground floor, if I can put it that way, and saying, "Jump, I'll save you. You got to trust in me. Come on, you will be safe. You got to jump." Here I am, afraid of the circumstance, which is the fire, but I'm also afraid of the solution, which is to jump and get saved, or to just stand there and get burnt. And here I am standing on the edge, thinking, is there another option? But you don't have long to think about this. Let me put it this way. The fire is coming after you no matter what. The fire is going to come after you. You're going to have to jump. And if you don't jump, you're going to be burnt alive. So you have the circumstance around you. Again, I say to you, the fire. And here you got the solution, because if you jump, you might just live. Or a lot of times you will live if you jump. And here you got, the circumstances coming after you no matter what. And the solution is, and here you have the solution. And here you're thinking about what is another option. We see that in life many times, isn't it? People, you have the circumstance, they have the circumstances around them. The solution is right there, but they're standing there thinking, hey, you know what? What's another option? Come on. So what's holding you back? And this is my point. What's holding you back? And these are the two fears people are afraid of: the solution and circumstances around them. So think about what I just said this morning. If you just stay on that boat, and I'm talking about it, and if you let that circumstances, or you let the circumstance on the outside get to you, you are going to drown no matter what. So think about what I said this morning, and moving into the year, or to the end of the year, and moving into next year. What are some of the things, or some of the challenges you've gone through? And I kicked off this morning with that story, about the carrot and the egg and the coffee beans, and then I went into this. Now, so think about where you are at this point in time in your life, and what are some of the things that you're going through? What are some of the challenges you're going through in life at this point in time? So what is the solution? The solution is always there. You don't let the circumstances get to you. So moving forward into 2019, what are some of the things that you need to do? What are some of the solutions you need, or some of the plans you need to put in place to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make it. No matter what, I'm going to start, finding a solution to move forward, as opposed to sitting and drowning in a 20-year-old or 2-3-year-old cup of water, when, the past is the past. It's not coming back. It's gone. It's finished. It's not coming back. And the future, again, is not real. But what is real is now, this very instance, and what we all do with it. Well, boy, I'm a bit fried up this morning. Well, I tuned into 97.7 FM KC Radio for an hour of